Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be covering my thoughts and opinions on the Monster High live action movie that aired on October 6th over on Nickelodeon. So literally right off the bat, I'm not a movie critic. And most importantly, I am not a movie critic for movies that are directed towards children. I am simply a doll collector who likes musicals, who watched this movie about dolls that I collect that just so happened to be a musical. Those are my credentials, okay? I'm just a fan, like all of you are watching this. So since this is my opinion, please keep your comments positive, polite, and respectful to myself, each other, and the cast and crew that created this project. So with that being said, I also want to say I am only touching on the film itself. I know there's some other things that other fans and reviewers and channels have touched on. I have not done a ton of research on the behind the scenes of this film. I really only know about kind of the actors specifically with the characters that I really liked, and I don't really know a whole lot about anything else that went on with the film. So this is strictly based on the fictional project itself. That is just because if I touched on anything else, I would have to do a bunch of research and the movie or the video would be like twice as long. And I haven't had time to do any research on that topic just yet. So I've decided to divide this into 5 categories, and I'm hoping that this isn't going to be too long, but it's going to be because it's me. So the 5 categories we're going to be talking about today are plot, characters, acting, clothes, and soundtrack. So I've only seen this movie once, and I wanted to go ahead and watch it one more time before I did this, but I didn't have anything to post today, and I was like, okay, I need to get these thoughts out there before I completely forget everything I thought. So I didn't really know what I was expecting with this movie. Now I'm going to issue the spoiler warning. So I kind of thought, I've seen the original Monster High movies, but I wasn't really sure how this one was going to go because it was live action and it was totally different. I didn't know that this movie would kind of be setting the scene for G3. So the G3 dolls were set to release on October 1st in stores and online. And if you were lucky enough, I guess, you could have got your new dolls and then had a, movie night with them watching the new movie. I had Draculaura with me because I carry her everywhere. And so the movie was on the 6th. So I think it was really cool. And then right after we got a sneak peek of the animated series. I'm not going to touch on that because this would be way too long. But I didn't know the movie was completely setting you up for G3. Not only the whole G3 reboot and everything, but also the end. It was a little cliffhanger and it looks like it's setting us up for the animated series. Now, do you have to watch the movie to understand the animated series? Probably not, because it is a show that is marketed towards children. But I'm just saying, I thought that was kind of cool. So plot-wise, basically, this is talking about Claudine. Claudine is the new ghoul at school, and she is half werewolf, half human being. And she kind of goes to the school, and then there's this whole thing about wanting to, because she's losing her, anytime she feels nervous or something, she loses her monster side, I guess you could say. And I'm really bad at plot summaries. I am a writer, but I'm just really bad at summaries. I can never summarize my books. But she learns about this potion, I don't remember what it was called, and it's kind of you can drink it and apparently your human side goes away and you're a monster forever. Well, then along the way she meets friends, she has a guy she has a crush on, we'll talk about that later, and then kind of there's the whole thing where it's they find the potion and there's the big plot twist. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, but then it just kind of wraps up really, really quickly. So the things I liked about the plot were, I thought that, it was kind of all right. It wasn't this is the best movie I've ever seen, but it wasn't god awful. It was better than what I thought it was going to be. I felt like some characters were overdeveloped, a lot were underdeveloped, and there were plot holes. Plot hole number one being, where is Claudine's mother? What happened to her? Did her parents divorce? Did she get like kidnapped or something? Like, did she pass away? Did she just up and leave Claudine? Like, where is Claudine's mom? Apparently she made a big impact on Monster High, but like, where is she? Like, who is she? What? I don't understand. I think that was a huge plot hole. A plot twist that I initially thought that the teacher, Mr. Comos, was this Hyde guy, as they, Claudine kept calling him. So I thought he was him, but he ended up being Hyde's son. So I kind of thought that was, interesting, but it kind of means, I guess, in G3, we're not getting Jackson and Holt, which I'm not a boy doll collector, so that doesn't bother me, but I know a lot of people are Holt Hyde fans specifically. I thought that was kind of cool and kind of the most like climactic part of the movie, as I'm sure it was intended to be, because you didn't think he was the villain. You really thought it was most likely Cleo all along because she's Cleo, but I feel like that was kind of the big climax of the film. Now, I do feel that there were some things that were wrapped up much too quickly, but I'm going to talk about those in each character's kind of little, my opinion on each character. So overall, again, not the best movie I've ever seen, but definitely a lot better than a lot of kids' movies I've seen, and better than I was expecting. So now we're going to talk about characters. So for Claudine, I'm going to start with her because she is the main ghoul in G3. I personally think she's really cute. I really like, I don't know if it's just like, I really love the purple ears. I think they're really cute. But I don't necessarily know if I like the whole like skater girl vibe they go with in the beginning, because I was kind of confused when the movie opened and she's like skateboarding. I was like, is that Claudine? And then it was. I was like, whoa, that's weird, because like Claudine, I don't really think G1 Claudine would have ever. I don't know. I don't know. I'm also not a big fan of the G3 Claudine doll as of right now, so like just the original one. So maybe that is a contributing factor. But again, that's nothing towards the actress. I think she did a very nice job. Claudine, she really just seemed like she was such a nice person and like cared about everyone. And my only issues with her were, again, the big plot hole of where's her mother, and two other things where I feel like she was accepted into Monster High way too quickly, because I've seen a couple other people talk about this in reviews I've watched. Basically, like the whole plotline of the movie is if you are discovered that you are half human, you're going to get kicked out of Monster High because humans are like terrible. And okay, but then at the end of the movie, when she kind of like saves the school, I guess you could say, then she gets accepted into Monster High. But I feel like it was super, super rushed, and you never really got like to see how like they discussed her being allowed at Monster High and all that stuff. So it just seemed very confusing, but again, that's just like a plot problem. Another thing with Claudine is I did not like the Claudine and Deuce thing. I am very confused by it. I think I will forever be confused by it. I know this is a reboot and I know it's supposed to be different, but it bothers me. I don't think it was okay. It just should not have been a thing. And thank God they didn't like make them kiss at the end of the movie or something, because I was terrified that was going to happen and I was going to be like, no. I feel like they could just be great friends. That would be fine, but we all know who Deuce belongs with, and we'll get to that in a little bit. So I was going to save her for last, but I figured I would just get the gushing and obsessing like out of the way, because I love Draculaura. You guys know she's my favorite character forever and ever, and this just made me love her more. Naya did an absolutely incredible job. There are just a few quick things I want to say about her. So Draculaura, you always think of like the little cutesy girl who's just like so happy and bubbly and things like that. And they kind of changed that up with her and kind of made her like a little bit of a loner. She's basically at the school because her dad, Dracula, wants her to be there and she has to be the best of the best. And her kind of plot line is she is a vampire who wants to do magic, and vampires and witches don't get along and all of that stuff. So Draculaura's personality was a little bit different, but I kind of liked that. She wasn't like, super nice right off the bat, which is, kind of when you meet somebody, you're a little bit like standoffish. And I mean, she could have been a little bit nicer in the beginning, but you're kind of just standoffish and you don't really know like if you want to be friends with them or not. And that's just kind of how I am. I'm not like, oh my God, I'm going to be friends with absolutely everybody I see. So I kind of like relate to Draculaura in that sense, that I'm kind of like a more of a introverted person. And once you get to know me, you like, I become comfortable around you and like the real me. And, that's kind of how I saw Draculaura. I loved everything about her. I just feel like her little redemption, or not her redemption arc, like the way her story ended, like the whole thing was, oh my God, my dad cannot find out that I am practicing witchcraft because that's like super bad and he'll hate me and everything will just be like so awful. And within like 5 seconds, he accepted that Draculaura was a witch, and it just kind of, or, wanted to be a witch and do witchcraft and a vampire. And it just kind of like was so easy. So much like Claudine getting accepted into Monster High super fast, Draculaura was kind of like accepted as to being a vampire that does witchcraft really fast. And that's kind of a common theme we will see at the end of, at the end of everybody's little plot lines. So, I mean, she was amazing, and I love her, and it made me love Draculaura even more. And I think she's just absolutely incredible, and 10 out of 10 best character in the entire film. So for Frankie, I want to say right off the bat that old Frankie, like animated series Frankie, when I first got into Monster High, I was like, Frankie's the best. I absolutely love Frankie. But as time went on and I got more into the Monster High world, obviously I discovered all the other characters, and like my opinion on Frankie completely changed. I will say animated series Frankie kind of drives me a little crazy. I do love a lot of G1 Frankie dolls though. However, Cece as Frankie was fantastic. An incredible actor, just fabulous, very, very good and on point with a lot of the stuff. So Frankie is 15 days old, which that was something they kept in the loop, or I mean, oh my God, what am I saying? That was something they kept accurate. So Frankie is literally a baby. And when they're trying to figure out how to walk, and then you learn how they're literally made up of a ton of different body parts. Some part of them is Shakespeare. I can't remember. And I think it was like, was it their spleen or something that was like Madame Curie's or something? I cannot remember. I just remember like Shakespeare, like some part of Frankenstein is Shakespeare. I found that kind of strange. I'm not the biggest fan of, in any generation of Monster High, when Frankie's like hand or body parts just like go flailing all over the place. I do not, nope, that is not for me. Sorry. But some of the stuff, okay, so I like really dry humor. Some of the stuff Frankie said I didn't find funny, and I get annoyed really easily, but it's fine. Some of the stuff I found really funny, like when they were trying to teach Frankie how to high five, and they think it's where you just like rub your hands together. I thought that was so funny. I don't know why, like I thought that was hilarious. When Frankie gets a cell phone and is like, hello fellow students, I have a cell phone, and then they're like, no Frankie, you have to like communicate with them like actually through the phone and stuff. I mean, I don't know. Some of the stuff for Frankie I found really good. As I was talking about Draculaura earlier being like kind of the, standoff, like closed off person, and like it takes a lot for them to open up and be friends with you. Frankie is the total opposite. Frankie and Claudine, honestly, were the total opposite, and just like, hi, how are you? I want to be your friend and all this stuff. Frankie is like so friendly and polite, and they always seem to like have a positive outlook on everything, which is great. I mean, I have no complaints. Draculaura was my favorite. Okay, so Frankie, again, Cece did a phenomenal job at bringing this character to life, and I thought Frankie was really uniquely done in this, and there was a lot of good funny moments, and I think, yeah, Frankie was great. No problems there. Basically, for Cleo, she seemed very Cleo, very on point, very, I am just better than all of you, and that's the way it's going to be. Basically, the two complaints I have about Cleo Denial are the fact that there wasn't really any explanation as to why her and Deuce broke up. They just did. And then my other issue was she kind of got a redemption arc. There wasn't even an arc. It was literally just like a redemption segment. And it was just basically, I wasn't expecting her when Frankie went live and asked for help. I wasn't really expecting Cleo to help them. I thought it was going to get worse, but for some reason, like, something just changed in Cleo and she decided to help them. So I'm not really sure how that went. And then at the end, you get to see where she takes a selfie with Frankie. So I don't really know. The ending felt very rushed. So again, this is another arc that was kind of like, it came out of nowhere and like disappeared super fast and you don't really understand it. But I mean, I was glad there was as much Cleo in the movie as there was. For Deuce, I only have like a few quick things. Again, why did he break up with Cleo, or did she break up with him, or was it a mutual thing? I don't know. I feel like Deuce broke up with Cleo, but I don't know. We have no idea. We got to see them interact like, I think once, like at the beginning, and that was really it. There really wasn't much close interaction at all. And my other thing is like his story arc. Again, I've seen a lot of people talk about this one. So Deuce has this whole thing like he's the reformed bad boy and everything, but like what did he do before, we got to see them? And also, was that why he and Cleo broke up? Or, like, why is he reforming and becoming a better person? I don't know. And then again, the whole Deuce and Claudine thing is just not allowed, and I will not accept it ever. While we're on the subject of Mansters, I'm going to go ahead and get Heath out of the way. I feel like he was really just there so that Deuce could have a friend. There really wasn't anything that he did except, his hair was on fire as per usual. But, he was there. And I mean, he was there for Abby, who we'll talk about in a minute. But I mean, he literally was just there. Here we've got Abby, and I knew right away when I first saw her in the movie, that was Abby. And Abby is one that I have loved forever and ever, and I just think she's amazing. I think they really did a good job with her. She has no character development or anything. Like, she has a couple lines. I mean, she's here at the Coffin Bean, she plays football, and we know she's a freshman. But that's really it. But I wanted to include her because she's Abby, and I know that we all love Abby. Gulia actually surprised me, so I wasn't quite sure how they were going to do Gulia because she is a zombie, and in the original Monster High, she does not speak. She just makes her little noise, but Gulia did actually talk a couple times, actually. I think Gulia got more lines than Laguna, which is weird, but I think Gulia is great. She made me really want to open my Gulia doll, so my one thing was I was kind of confused because Gulia like sleeps in the graveyard, and I'm pretty sure it said that they weren't allowed in the graveyard. That's why they had to go sneak in there. And then Gulia was like, I'm trying to sleep. And I was confused on that. And it also explained why she had dirt in her teeth when she met Claudine. So, I mean, Gulia was cool. Laguna kind of had me heartbroken because she, like I said, I think she got less lines than Gulia, and I feel like Laguna's entire character was just based on being Cleo's best friend, which is weird to me because Gulia and Cleo are supposed to be best friends, and then Laguna is supposed to be the fourth ghoul, so I'm kind of confused. But I mean, I like the whole like look of Laguna. I think she's cute, but I really wish like she actually would have had a personality instead of just being Cleo's best friend. So now really quickly, I want to talk about their outfits because I know this is a controversial topic, and I watched the entire Ex Canadensis video where Brooke literally analyzes this, and it really made me think, like, were these, I mean, okay, this was a low budget children's film, okay? So a lot of the stuff probably wasn't specifically made for these characters. I know a lot of the shows I watch, they literally just buy stuff from stores. And then I'm a big fan of when you can buy something that your favorite character wears in a movie or TV show. So believe me when I tell you, I'm about to go on the hunt for all of Draculaura's pieces. I literally am. I am going to find them, and I will probably buy them. But I think Draculaura's costumes in particular were spot on. Absolutely perfection. Frankie had a lot of interesting fashion choices, but that is just me saying interesting because Draculaura wears black and pink. Frankie did lots of different, kind of more exciting things where that is so not me. That is not something I would do. Does it fit Frankie? Yes, I think it was great. Claudine's outfits were a little bit more, I felt like they were kind of all the same. They were a bit more boring to me. They were all very, very similar. Cleo, I mean, Brooke said it best in her video. She said, really, this is just a person, that's kind of like a mummy. And that's basically what Cleo is. And there wasn't really, Cleo literally just looks like a person. Like, she didn't look, like a monster or something that there weren't a lot of her, bandages and stuff to make her look like a mummy. But, I mean, Cleo's pieces were very Cleo denial. Abby, I thought was good. There wasn't really any, like I said earlier, I knew that was Abby immediately. Laguna, I mean, she was Laguna. I really think that Laguna and Gulia specifically, and kind of Draculaura as well, they really, really focused on the G3 appearance of those dolls. And I know a lot of people have said that. You can definitely tell they took a lot of inspiration, especially from Gulia and Laguna's G3 dolls. As for Heath and Deuce, I am really not into men's fashion at all. So, I mean, I thought they were fine. I really don't have like any big drastic opinions on those. And finally, the song category. So musicals are probably my favorite genre of movies. And so I'm a big fan of soundtracks. I was expecting these to probably be like kind of cringy and stuff. And to be completely honest with you, they weren't. Especially the song with Draculaura, Claudine, and Frankie. I really like that song. I think it's really cool. I think it's very like friendship empowering, and I think it's really awesome. Definitely Claudine's intro song when she comes in. I'm trying to remember all the names of these songs. I think they're The Three of Us and then Out of the Dark. I haven't actually downloaded this soundtrack onto my phone yet. I thought like the music was really good. There was a lot of dancing happening, but I mean, that's a musical. It's to be expected. And I was really focusing on the main cast members. Because for me, with my visual impairment, I'm going to have to go back and really analyze a movie if I want to like pick up any little details that everybody else is probably noticing right away, because I'm just focusing on what's happening in like directly in front of me. So I thought the main cast they were very good singers, better than I expected. And I know this wasn't like live and there was probably some help in there, but I think they did a really good job. I think their dancing was really good. Everything seemed to flow very nicely. The songs, there weren't too many, but there weren't only like two. I didn't like the Claudine and Deuce one just because it was the Claudine and Deuce song, but I mean, it's fine. It is what it is. It's literally a movie. But yeah, I actually thought the soundtrack was really good. So in a nutshell, that is my thoughts on, or I guess those are my thoughts on the Monster High movie. So it really wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Again, was it the best movie I've ever seen? No. Will I go back and watch it again? I feel like I probably will. I feel like maybe like every Halloween, I'll just add this to like the list of movies I watch for Halloween, like from my childhood. Halloween Town, I definitely go back and watch American Horror Story in the month of October. So I feel like, yes, this could be something that I will definitely come back to, maybe like even within the next week or so. I feel like it's cute. I don't know if they're releasing it on DVD. I feel like I am a DVD collector, so I feel like I should probably buy this if it does come out, because I thought it was really good. I thought the actors did a great job. And again, we have to remember it was a reboot. It literally was based on the current generation of Monster High. Would it have been cool to see this back when Monster High was, still in G1? I feel like absolutely, and especially for those of you that have been collecting Monster High since day one. Was I disappointed that like there was no Torlai in this movie? Yes. However, I think given that the main focus was on Frankie, Claudine, and Draculaura, the other characters really did, especially Laguna, Heath, and Abby, really, I thought they were going to be main characters, and they really were not. Laguna especially was, like I said, just literally her personality was being Cleo's friend. And Gulia, too. Like, Gulia, we needed more Gulia, okay? So I feel like there could have been a few more scenes in this, but some stuff we could have done without. We needed plot holes. I mean, maybe they would do a sequel. I don't really know. I don't think that's going to happen. But my biggest disappointment is that there was no Torlai, and that will forever, be very sad. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are down below. Please remember, keep the comments positive, polite, and respectful to myself, each other, and the cast and crew for this film. If you have not already, give this video a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button to join the fam, and tap that really cool notification bell so you know the exact moment I post a new video. Have a blessed day, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye, everybody.